To those of you who said copium inside the Discord, I want you all to know the programming will happen at some point. Chat, okay, look, you have to understand, okay? Genius takes time. Genius takes time. Off they get boy gore. Wait, can you, okay, but like, please post a photo. If you get food, please post a picture of your food inside the Discord channel, please. I'm begging you. We need a food channel. I need to see what everyone's eating, okay? I posted my meat mountain, so you guys have to post your food too, all right? It's we all feed each other in a way. Empty plate. Okay. Empty plate. I'll post the result. Sorry. Give me a second. I forget how to do this. How do you do this? Spell two input. No, I want a color picker. Sure. Yeah. Okay. All right. This doesn't hurt my eyes as much. I suppose this works. Sure. Um. Welcome to today's stream, everybody. So, as you may have noticed, it's not copium. I'm gonna point this out here. I'm gonna go show the Discord on screen. Please don't be weird about it, all right? Nobody be a weird. No one be weird about it. I'm gonna show the Discord. Wait, am I hiding DMs? Gotta make sure I hide DMs here. I'm gonna show the Discord. I know some of you may say copium that I'll never program, and one of you actually found out how to do the whole thing with all the little letters at the bottom here to my message saying programming is either Friday or next week. Time to be weird. Okay, I'm gonna scroll up and like hide that. The thing is, okay, chat, I forgot. Sometimes my friends don't exist in my mind. My friends really only exist in my mind. Insofar as they're there when they message me, and when they don't, they don't. The problem is that I promised my friend that we would collab at some point. She wanted to play games with me, and we were talking about it for a while. And like, she doesn't really stream, but she wanted to try it out, see if it was fun. I was like, yeah, sure. It's really fun if you can talk for like a long time. I watched one of her streams actually, and she was talking about pizza. It was so funny. 30 minutes of pure silence. 5 minutes of talking about pizza. One sigh. Then she says, "My friend, aka me, does this for 8 hours a day, and I don't know how he does it." Another 2 hours of silence. I joined her stream, and I'm like, "Hey man, can you keep going on about pizza?" And she's like, "Oh, thank God, please help me." To be fair, it is hard. I realize now that as simple as this is, like in terms of complexity and also in terms of value, because there's a subjective, I guess there's a way that you can define objective value of like how useful is your skill towards society, right? Entertainment in terms of usefulness is very, very low. It's necessary for a late stage to medium stage society. I think of it in terms of like a Civ game, right? If you go in Civ and you don't have culture in your society, your people rebel and your cities go on fire, and then all of a sudden other players realize that you're free to be eaten. It's very important to actually have that level of culture. But I don't save people. I can't save someone. Well, I can do CPR actually. I can do CPR, and if I need to, I can do that scene in Good Doctor. Which, by the way, please watch the Korean version. Okay, the American version is a sham. That one is not as good. Nowhere near as good. The Korean version is actually insanely good. The original Korean version is way better. It's like the remake of Old Boy. Okay, with Thanos. You don't want to see Thanos becoming Old Boy. It just doesn't work. All right, you need to watch the original. The I can do that one scene where they put like a stent in someone's like throat so that they can like breathe. I can do that. I'm pretty sure I won't cut someone's vocal cords. I don't think. Actually, where are your vocal cords? I probably will cut your vocal cords. Oh well. Either way, look, I'm pretty sure I can save someone. But everything else, that's kind of useless, right? But it doesn't negate how difficult it is. It's a bit weird in that sense, where it's like it takes a lot of effort to do in a very specific way, but it's also not useful. But it's also a skill that also isn't really necessarily a skill for some people. It's mostly like it comes naturally, right? I'm not saying that I'm entertaining. I'm saying that I now recognize the forms that streaming can take, and like how you can evolve it, and how you can be how you can be better at it compared to somebody else who's like really struggling with the key skills of it. And realizing the key skills of it as I chew in this delicious food, by the way, the food I'll explain in a bit, is not just being able to talk to somebody, it's being able to interact, right? Streaming is hard, okay. No, chat. This is not the streaming is a hard discussion. This is not me trying to be all guys. Streaming is the hardest job. Okay, I've done harder jobs. All of you. It's funny that you typed that email because look at the iPad. Look at the iPad. Look at how long the iPad is. Okay, the iPad doesn't do emotes, and I haven't done that yet. At some point, I'm gonna have like an install thing. I'm gonna do it with my own little thing, and it'll be a lot better. Who the hell texted me? That was weird. I never get texts except for from my wife, and she's in America. Bell. Thank you, Bell. Fuck off. Guys, the more you spam the bread, the more filled the iPad gets. Um, but the key skill of talking for a long time, having topics to talk about, being able to like jump topics very often, and just being able to converse with strangers, because you're all strangers to me. You're like, I don't know, just random people that show up in my bedroom, and then I can't stop you. Well, not my bedroom. Maybe like years ago, would it be my bedroom? The moment that I could get my own separate office, I was like, fuck yeah, let's go. Separate office being like just a random space somewhere, whether it's in my kitchen or somewhere. I used to actually work. I used to work from like the hallway. So the hallway was like wide, but not like super wide, but it was wide enough that I could like do stuff in it. It was nice. It was a good hallway. At the hallway. My wife and I used to have a desk side by side, and then she was like, "Honey, I can't deal with how loud you are anymore. It's time to split up." And I was like, "Okay, honey." So we split the desk across two different rooms. She went down to the living room. I stayed in the hallway, and then it was just me and my dog. And I was like, it's kind of lonely, so I followed her downstairs, and then I was playing on the PS4. And then I was too loud. She was like, "Honey, for the love of God, you're too loud. Can you please shut it down?" And I was like, "Okay." So I had to play with like plugged in headphones, right? So in my head, I'm hearing people like dying, blowing up. I'm playing Ghost of Tsushima and stuff, right? Outside, my all you hear is my dog snoring because my wife is like dead quiet on the PC. She's so quiet on the PC. So my dog is just there like snoring, sleeping. That's all you hear is like because she had like a really bad lung issue. Yeah, it was good. What did I talk about? Oh yeah. All I'm saying is streaming has some key skills that really, really matter, right? Um, and my friend, she wants to get better at it, so that's why Copium programming will happen either Friday or next week. I'm not really sure. All depends on my wife. She's coming back, I guess, like Thursday night or Thursday afternoon. We actually don't know what time. It depends on the weather. Apparently, it's rainy in Buffalo. She couldn't listen to you yap. We are here to listen to you yap. We are different people. Well, I'm not comparing you. I'm not. Chad, I'm not comparing you to my wife. That's a whole. That's weird. I'm not gonna compare you to my wife, Chad. My wife has a special place in my heart. And then there's you. Like that's just you. I don't know. All of you just do your own thing. You don't manage her. Get out of here. What did I say on this channel? What's the first rule of my Discord channel? Actually, no, wait, not the first rule. Actually, do you guys remember the onboarding flow? Maybe we should. Oh, one of the things we have to program, new thing that we have to program. I need to write this down because I keep forgetting about it, and I need to remember. I need to organize my notes. When we program, one of the projects that we're going to be doing is the Discord maze. Okay, the onboarding maze. We're gonna program because I don't know if this is possible. But it should be possible. We're gonna have a bot that DMs people when they try to join the server, and it's like a choose your own adventure maze. So it's like a text RPG game. I really want to make that happen. That way you can get like fully into the server. I don't know whether I want to do it through a Discord bot because I think they might ban the bot. What I might end up doing is it redirects to my website, and then we do the game on there, and then you link your Discord account, and you agree to my website being able to use your GPU for Bitcoin mining. Our places in his heart are different. He has two of them. That's right, chat. I have two hearts. One is filled with love, care, attention. One is filled to the brim with feelings that I can't even describe. One is filled to the... Why does this music sound so, like, decrepit? One is One struggles every day to push forward through these feelings of uncertainty. Okay, that's way too intense. One even tries to, find goodness in the world, and the other is wherever you. The other is wherever you guys are. You guys are in like some like shithole. It's like a third party artificial heart. I got off at like Timu or something, or like I don't know, Amazon. Not gonna lie, you wouldn't be able to date me. Sorry, that's fine. Who asked? Who asked, chat? Who asked? Okay, first rule: don't be parasocial. I need to add that. New rule. Rule number 10. I mean, saying a new rule. Don't be parasocial. It's a meme for you to be a parasocial parasite. But if you are, I will ban you. Gotta add it twice. Message is too long. Just made a new message. Okay, good. Yeah, one night stand, max. Max! I'm good for two. I'm good for two. I'm good for at least like 5. Listen, I'm good for like a month-long fling, and then and then you drop me, right? Very soon, it's gonna be me eating in the beginning and talking to you because I was busy yesterday doing some job applications. More of them. Chat. I have a spreadsheet. I can't show you obviously because it's gonna dox me. No, not dox me. It's just a bunch of information about businesses. But if you triangulate all the businesses, I'm pretty sure you can get really close to where I live because I have a very strict restriction on how far I can leave my house because I need to be home within a certain time if anything happens. So, because I'm like a caretaker, so it's like you could probably triangulate it based on like the number of time, based on where it is, and then you have like a circle somewhere. 5 times. I think your wife will get jealous. She has me infinitely. Because I was doing job applications, I wasn't able to prepare as much as I wanted to. I got all the MMOs mostly. I think I have most of the accounts. But in terms of food, I forgot to eat. So I'm eating now. As well, I want to share with you the insanity of job applications. That's a story. I don't have anything to show you. But I'm pretty sure you can find your own examples. Okay? Job applications now are very different from when I first started. Yeah, I started in the industry maybe like 8, 9 years ago. I think 8 years ago. Did no one teach you not to eat with your mouth open? You know what? Lessons are meant to be broken, right? Once you know the rules, you can break the rules. It's a bit like art. You're a designer, so you know, right, Chad? I'm being parasocial now. You're a designer, so you should know. When you know the rules, you can eventually break the rules. And when you break the rules, you achieve nirvana, enlightenment. But going through the job interviews, 8 years ago, I met my wife. We started dating, then we got together. It's gonna be 8 years and about 5 months, or like anniversary is in December. When we got together, was also when I got my first job. It was a very like weird twist of fate too. Well, not my first job, my first professional programming job. In fact, I make the rules, so programmers follow them. No. Programmers don't follow them. We entertain you. Programmers entertain designers. That's what you said to the officer. I'm saying, Jap. You think you're so smart in your designer chair, making all these stupid little things? No. Programmers entertain you. They think, oh, look at that designer being all cute and stuff like that, doing all stuff and saying like, it has to look like this. It must be 5 pixels, not 6. And we're like, okay, fine. Don't blow a gasket. All right, here you go. And then we had like margin somewhere to like fuck it up. But 8 years ago, the job market was more about applying, and you could get a foot in the door kind of just by talking to someone. That's what I found back then 8 years ago. Even in a boom job like programming, even in a non-boom job like programming, that's what it felt like. Quite literally, my first role was applied to a couple places. All of them like ones like interview. I would go in for the internship, and they're like, "Do you know this?" And I'm like, "Yeah." I solved it in C++. My now or like my previous manager, like he eventually became my like manager, said most people who come here only know Scratch, or even worse, they don't know anything. And he was surprised that I knew a for loop. And I was like, my brother in Christ, what do you mean? I didn't say my brother in Christ because I wasn't like, I had morals. I was different back then, Chad. Back then, I was professional. I was telling my friends this. I was like, I can't go back into society. Last night, I said chat, like in a call with my friends because we were playing League of Legends New Swarm mode. Because, it got heated. And then when I get heated, I only get heated with you, chat, because I hate you guys. I hate all of you. Back when I ate with my mouth closed. So when I got heated, I was like, look, chat, look. And then they all went, chat? Because they know I stream. So it's like, oh, and it was like, oh, I mean, hey, you guys, yeah. Anyways, so I go in. He tells me, most programmers don't even know like for loops. I'm like, okay, that's weird. I mean, he was even surprised that I knew the word pseudocode. And then my code was just C++. And he was like, this isn't pseudocode. You just wrote C++ like on paper by hand. And then I was like, well, I mean, you didn't give me a laptop, so I don't know what to do. And so he was like, yeah, okay. So I go out and I have the interview with the CTO that same day. And he asked me a killer question. I remember the killer question. He was like, what do we do? He was like, what do you think we do here? And I was like, I remember answering. My answer was stupid. Listen, I was 21, okay? 21, first professional programming job. Before then, I was only on mod teams. So we just make like shitty mods of like stupid games. Or we make like stupid projects on like stuff, right? And I remember saying to him, I have no clue. And I was like, I think you guys make and sell sandwiches. And he was like, listen, you gotta go back home, do some more research, figure it out. And I was like, yeah, okay. And I figured like I bombed it, but I had like 4 other interviews lined up, right? Who needs 4 loops when you have a while? That's true. A while, think about it. The while is it's the building block, right? It's the protein. You use the while loop to build into everything else. You can think about this. You can build every other loop from a while loop. Fuck while. You can even make an if statement from a while loop, or vice versa. I should know. For with a while loop, you can make an if statement. Well, okay, a goto for the win. Okay, but like goto can like do anything. Yeah. Well, you shouldn't use goto. Please don't. If you use goto in your code, I'm gonna ban you. But yeah. So I go home. And I'm thinking, okay, I probably bombed like job interview, but it doesn't really matter because like 4 more, right? I get a call the next day, as well as an email. They're like, congratulations, you're in. And I was like, oh, you guys liked me? And they were like, yeah. And then the CTO came on the call. And he was like, so, do you know what we do now? And I knew then. I can't say it. Well, no, I can't say it. In Canada, there's only like 2. And I'm not kidding you. I worked in this industry when it was starting up, like as a whole. Like the industry just boomed. It just started. We were one of the first players globally. So if I say it, there's still only 2 companies in all of Canada that like do it. So if I say anything, you will find out. And they would also find out. And then they would probably sue me because I'm not on good terms with the current management team. But yeah, it was fascinating to sort of see that whole timeline. You just got deja vu. Have I told the story before? No. I've never told the story before. It was a whole new story. I talked about other jobs. It's just every job that I've worked at has been very cutting edge. I've never worked at a non-cutting edge place. That's why I don't know what to do. Like when I go to job interviews, right? The job market is really bad at the moment. I think for every job, but even for like tech now. And if tech is bad, you know everything else is bad because tech is usually a boom market, right? It's usually the profit generator of like most countries. So what ends up happening is that as I'm going through this whole job search, I realize that a lot of my stories kind of relate to it, and so I give you guys stories of various other jobs that I do. But also, when I go through these job interviews, all the roles seem boring to me because I've only ever worked in greenfield stuff, like wholly new developments. Not even like the technology. A lot of the technology was very tried and true and like tried and tested because we didn't want to go too experimental. If you go too experimental, you only have so many innovation spoons, right? You only have so many innovation tickets. If you innovate on your business model, you really don't want to innovate on your technology because then you're not going to have enough capability to do both at the same time. You'll be stretched too thin. So usually it was like a try and true stuff. But the reason why the story sounds similar to other stories is because I've told stories of my other jobs, which are also greenfield stuff. Will you ban me if you say you use jump a lot? What's the context? If you say for kernel stuff, no. If you say for like random desktop application, yes. Oh. The fuck is jump? I'm JS programmer. Oh, jump? No joke. Actually, JS has it. Here, let me show you. I don't know why it has it. It's disgusting, but. Well, not jump. It has like basically this. No. That's a bitwise shift. Well, it depends on the operation. That's usually a bitwise shift. Um, it's the equivalent of like a go-to, but very very specific towards assembly. It's like it's the term that they use for it within assembly because in assembly you're so low level that you're just jumping around different address spaces. Whereas like a go-to, you go to some label in your code. So think of the labeled statement and the go-to in JavaScript, basically. Actually, I guess it's there for the same reason a go-to might be. It is, yeah. But sorry, my explanation was like bad. I see what you mean now. No. What I'm saying is that JS doesn't have a jump. They have an equivalent to it called go-to. So JS has a go-to. It's just conceptually, you have to think of go-to as similar to what the jump is, except jump is just the reason why jump is the way that it is because in assembly you don't have really you don't have labels. You just have registers. It's a whole different system. It's not as it's not as dynamic. Well, it can be dynamic. What I'm trying to say is, look, I don't know why we changed the like name. I don't get it. Every programming language has a different name for the same underlying statement, right? I don't know why we didn't just keep the jump statement. I don't know why it's called go-to. It doesn't make any sense. Like, sure, you go to something, but jump is the same way. You also jump there too. I think maybe the only reason why is because of the context of like the call stack. I can't remember exactly what go-to does to the call stack because I basically never use it, and jump doesn't really do anything with that because it doesn't have that. So maybe that's why. I don't know. Oh, all I'm saying is. Too many technical terms makes Johnny a sad boy. Anyways, the reason why you probably heard that story from me multiple times is because it's probably because I've told a similar story. I've only ever worked in greenfield stuff. Borgor, please post photo of your bunger. please post photo of your bunghole inside of Discord. Who is Johnny? The Shining. Here's Johnny. Go-to uses labels you make, and jump uses actual addresses. Well, I know the technical difference, but what I'm saying is that conceptually, they're both effectively similar. Because the label that you make is just applied to an address that's abstracted into an instruction. That's really that's all you're really doing. It's just a layer of abstraction, right? The label is applied to an instruction, which is effectively some memory address underneath the like hood. So like, was there really a point to like do that? Because usually you can't apply labels to like straight up operations. Like you can't do like a label on like a straight up like plus operation, right? Like you can't just do like a label plus. It doesn't work. It can only work on like statements, which then boil down to like an address somewhere, right? Oh, sorry, not like statements, but like structures, basically. Some sort of code structure that like it has a place in memory somewhere, some operation, some routine. I don't know. What's the actual term for it again? It's been a while. Pretty much, yeah. You can also make labels in assembly too. Yeah, it's just more. It's a lot more. It's very. You finished the burger? Okay, well, post a photo of your plate. You have an idle game monitor too, so I'm primary monitor content today. Wow. It's gonna be really boring for you today. Don't let it go to your head. All right, chat. Read rule number 10. Please read the new rule. Holy shit, that's a good Borgar. You got double patty with cheese and bacon and more cheese. Why do you have two different types of cheese? And there's no wait. You know you could just made a poutine, right? Have you ever had a poutine? Chad, do you know what a poutine is? Do you know what the poutine is? This is a Quebec poutine. No, that's not. It's not how you spell it. It's a Canadian classic food. Here, look. Poutine. from Quebec. It's a Canadian classic. Kebab on burger. Kebab burger. What? You have a kebab burger? Actually, that sounds pretty good. That doesn't sound too like bad. Because a kebab is just like a ground up meat, right? So what's the difference between ground beef and then kebab? But like shaped into like, just a wider patty. That's actually five head. It is donair meat, cheese, and garlic sauce. Okay, well, you can also do it with gravy. Donair is lamb. Yeah. But like that's what I mean. It's like whatever meat is like there, and you just do it in the same structure, basically. You just shape it. So it's like you might as well just like have it. It actually makes sense. Burgers are flexible in that regard where the meat is just a patty shape. So you can make it out of anything. Anyways, this is a poutine. Gravy, cheese curds, hot french fries. The history of poutine, by the way, is the funniest thing ever. Apparently, the first ever poutine was made because people wanted to, was it? So basically, these shops used to sell fries. Then people would buy the fries in a brown paper bag. Then people asked for cheese inside the bag, and so the shop owner was like, "Sure, okay, fine," because people were adding their own cheese to the bag, which is like that's crazy to me. Then they said, "Hey, it's kind of cold when it gets home. Can you keep it warm?" So the shop owner's solution was they poured gravy into the bag. I'm not even kidding you. It's on the Wikipedia. That's the actual lore. Because the fries were getting cold, they decided to pour gravy into the brown paper bag. By the way, it's a paper bag, so I'm assuming that shit leaked like crazy. I'm like, I don't know if this is a good solution, but it spawned a great food, so I don't know. Fallout fanboy found. It's a good keyboard. New Vegas is your number 3 game. You bet they even played Fallout 76. Hey, don't make fun of them, alright? Fallout 76 was a promising game. Very, very promising. Anyways, the job thing, right? Now that I'm looking at newer jobs, I find them to be very insane for the level of work that you do. When I was back then, when I was going into greenfield shit every day, right? When I was applying to places, the process was difficult, but you got to work on very cool things, like actual things that could change the world. Not in terms of like a very fancy like investor talk, but I mean things like, okay, new paradigm of giving medical aid, new paradigm of like building some technology, new paradigm of like doing some random thing, right? It's like, oh shit, this is actually pretty cool, right? Like you actually have a positive benefit in the world. Nowadays, you have to have a cover letter, your resume, you have to have like a whole, answer like 50 different questions before you even get to hit the apply button. Just for a job that makes marketing websites for websites not even like Google but like Willy Dogs. And it's like, dude, like what's the point? Like these are the entry level jobs. Not that they're like necessarily lowest skilled, but the reason why they're entry level, quote unquote, is because you're not really doing anything super crazy, but it's where people can gain a very valuable skill set and practice on it and like hone it down, within a very like low risk environment. You need a PhD for Willy Dog. Back in my day, I'm just saying. Nowadays, it's crazy. And 600K. True, y'all seen 600K. Yeah, remember we did see the prices, chat. The smallest hot dog stand is $1,000. That's insane to me. However, back then too, I shortcutted a lot of the job application process. So when I got my first job, I then got all of my jobs. I can't tell you how important it is to get your foot in the door. If you know somebody, even by association, even by like weak association of like you guys went to the same school, yo, chat, grease them up, give them the glizzy. You know what I mean? Give them the gluck. You gotta get in. All right. The moment that you get somebody, they're gonna help carry you through. That's cheating. No, well, it's kind of cheating, but at the same time, it's also just the reality that connections matter more. And if you form connections with like a genuine connection, then it matters a lot. Like my connection with my manager, as well as my coworkers, are like we're friends, like actual friends. Like I know about the birth of their child. I've like been there. You know what I mean? I've been invited to the weddings. Right? Like it's like I'm friends with them. I help them in like life, and I help them a lot. And they helped me. They like gave me like concert tickets and like stuff, and I helped them in like life. It's a genuine connection. It just happens to be that nepotism is the easiest way to go through a broken system, because I'm realizing Despite my work and despite my resume being very, very straightforward, none of these systems know who I am. Like I'll put all of my whatchamacallit information on my resume, like my actual resume, right? And so and I very specifically list my skills as a programmer. And I get web design jobs. I get a bunch of random jobs. I get jobs to work in factories. I'm like, guys, like I'm this is not these systems are broken. So having somebody in the know helps you skip so much of the broken steps. And I'm so sad about it because for a long time when I did hiring for my companies, I tried really hard to fix the broken system, give an equal opportunity to everybody. Because for me, if you can't give an equal opportunity to like people and you need somebody to shortcut the process, to skip the broken process, that says to me that your process is broken and the people who made that process didn't make it well enough. So you need to go back to square one. That's why you're doing an apprenticeship for half the regular salary. No, you're a corporate cuck. You're a Sorry, I just wanted to say that. I was waiting for one of you to say something like, "Oh yeah, that's like my life," and then I could be like, "You're a corporate cock." No, no, but I mean, it sucks that you have to take half the salary. In my purview, even though you're learning, you're still doing the job. Though you may be a cost, you're also outputting a level of output that presumably they're using to make money. Because honestly, Chad, if it wasn't worth it to train you and they weren't making a profit, they wouldn't be doing it. So you know that they're making a profit, and you know that they could absolutely pay you the full price of an entry level in that role. Because what's the difference between apprenticeship slash internship slash like an like an entry role? Usually expectations, but also the amount of money that they pay you. It's never the output of your work. The output of your work across all those three roles is the exact same. Or like in practicality, all three roles do the exact same things, but they pay you less or they expect less from you depending on the title attached to it. Titles are meaningless at the lower level. It's just a way for companies to like gouge you in many different ways. It's been my huge thing. It's why even for my internship, I negotiated. I was like, listen, you guys want to pay me like, minimum wage. I was like, guys, I'm still doing programming work. I'm going to give you value. You know my skills. Give me entry level pay. And they're like, okay, sure. So I got entry level pay. Obviously, I know in other places it's different. In Canada, we have okay labor laws, but I know in America, for instance, if you're in America, internships can be unpaid, in which case you get fucked. I don't know how it is in wherever you are. Please don't say where you are. You have a connection with me that will that benefit you in any way, or will you get instantly rejected if you mention me? You'll probably get instantly rejected unless you work in like social media, in which case they'll call the police on you. I don't think these people. I don't think I'm well known in the streaming space, right? They're just gonna be like, all right, time to call the police on you. Sounds like parasocial manager to me. No, chat. It's not parasocial management. It's called being a human. See, this is why the internet has rotted us. The internet has rotted our minds. I can't go back. I'm gonna go back into like a meeting, and then I'm gonna start chanting skibbity, edge, Riz, skibbity, edge. Where is it? Where's the dog? Skibbity, edge, edge, edge. Did I see the Skibbity Toilet movie in the works? Yes. I liked someone's tweet in response to saying stop. I think it was Vine sauces, and I hope to see that post get like ratio because I absolutely hate that series is getting a movie. Not that I hate it, but like I feel like it's overdone. At the same time, if you go to YouTube and you search up Skibbity Toilet, they've hit the money bag. Okay, they understand what makes money. If you Google Skibbity Toilet, you go to Da Fuck Boom, the official channel. You watch their latest video, released 4 days ago, 13 million views. Okay? Videos from 1 month ago, so they've had time to cook in the system, and then, kids on their iPads, they can finally watch now that it's summer. 40 million views. Every video from at least a month ago is at least 20 million views. Within 4 days, they got 13 million views. They're making so much money, it's not even funny. Chat, they have hit they have hit like gold, and that's on their videos, not their shorts. Because you know these goddamn iPad kids are on their, they're on the iPad watching TikTok and like YouTube Shorts. Okay, their shorts all have 20 million views. Look at this shit. Look at this shit. I I know how to do SFM. I was doing SFM for a bit. Maybe I should have stuck with it. Fuck. Fuck. My money. My money. 70 million views. Creative envy much? No, I don't envy their creativity because I hate what they've made. I hate the content that they've made. Not that I hate it, but like I don't find interest in it. I find it to be a very boring concept. However, I do enjoy that they're able to build like an overarching storyline. There is an overarching storyline to the Skibbity Toilet thing that I think they're having fun with, which is good. But in terms of like the concept, I don't really like. I don't enjoy it. I envy their money. Chat. Somebody who makes six figures looks at somebody who looks at somebody who makes seven figures and it says, "I wonder how they live like." And somebody who makes seven figures looks at somebody who makes eight figures and they say, "I wonder how they live like." And somebody who makes eight figures looks at somebody who makes nine figures and then they say, "You can't possibly exist in this world. It's time to eat the rich." This could have been me, Chad. This could have been me. Do I think he has a writing team? I don't think there's any bit of writing that goes into this, except I don't know who that character is, so maybe. My theory is that there's no real writing team. I think my theory is that he just writes it himself because the stories are very, very simplistic. If you write the story in words, you can actually boil down every video to like maybe like a couple pages, right? The reason why it's so detailed is because of the animation work, right? Again, he actually does they actually do very good animation work. I think their visual storytelling skills are like very, very good. But because they do the animation, I think their I would believe that they're the only one doing the visual story like animation. Do I believe that they have any team at all? I actually don't know. That's a good question. It's a very good. Look at his meteoric rise. Okay, look. 10K 2017. When did he hit 100 million views total? 300K subscribers 2019. He hit a million subscribers by 2021, right around when COVID really started to pick up. Right, I want to say when COVID started, it was still like, we can still go outside. 2021. I need to explain it to my nieces in the future. Well, to my one niece in the future when she grows up. Actually two. One of my wife's side as well as one on my side. We need to explain to them that hey kids, there was a period of time where society died. For like a year, society died. No one left outside. No one went outside. Okay, that's when they boomed, and then they kept booming and booming and booming, and it's like the fuck boom. I don't think they have a team. I think this is one single person putting all of the genius into it. And the thing is, I actually love it because they are having fun with it. So I do think it's great. However, it's surprising to me that it got so popular without getting into major legal trouble because they're using Half-Life 2 models. I was very surprised to see that happen. Though I imagine now they license it from Valve and they probably cut they probably get a pretty good cut. What is this? You think people will go outside in the future? No. I don't even think, Chad, you guys don't even go outside now. No one's gonna go outside in the future. Anyway, job interviews are awful now. If you know somebody, glizzy them up. Try to go through this entire process. I've even looked at the tools now. So I did the free trials for the various tools last night because I was so mad. I did free trials for the various resume screening tools using my friend's company because that he allows me to use for it. And I was like, hey, I'll do this for you. It's like a small contract to see if you want to use these. And he's like, yeah, sure. And I did it, and I was like, don't ever use these tools. I swear to God, if you use them, it's going to be awful. And he's like, yeah, I know. I'm like, all right, cool. It's fucking awful, Chad. It sucks. Wait, COVID ended. Why did no one tell me? Wow, I've been inside it the whole time. Exactly. See, exactly, Chad. But I'm also eating less. Let me see if I can find it. Oh. Vietnamese sticky rice. That's a terrible photo. I've seen better photos. I've seen a lot better photos. But this is also a terrible photo. Actually, this one's okay. Sticky rice. Coconut milk sticky rice. You get sticky rice. So it's a very specific brand of rice, type of rice. And it's sticky. And then you cook it up and you shape it into whatever you want, and you add whatever topping you want. I'm eating this version, but with sausages and like mushrooms and stuff with like onions too. What makes it sticky? I don't know. There's some like gluten thing in it. I think it's gluten. I'm pretty sure it's like mostly gluten. It's why it's a specific type of rice. Like you can't grow this rice like normal rice. Because normal six-figure salary, but bro eats that. You know what's funny? If if people look at Finnish food the same way that you look at this food, you would also be kind of like, what? It's just normal food. The truth is, the your ability to see past, just the imagery of something, and your inability to recognize greatness in another culture's food is because your taste buds have been defiled by the likes of McDonald's and like Swiss strumming. But yeah, this is actually really tasty. The Will they eat British eels? Yeah, I mean, if they eat it, it probably tastes good for some reason, right? I'd probably eat it. The thing is, right, is that seeing food in a different lens other than inquisitive tends to be the most useless way to look at other cultures' foods, because you don't have the background, you don't have the mindset, and you don't have the acclimation of your taste buds for that food. So you can never understand it. So be going into it with a more inquisitive mindset to look at it and realize that, like, hey, this is like, though this isn't for me, I'm curious what makes it so good, and I'm curious why it's eaten. It to me is a much more fruitful endeavor, because then you learn more. You leave having learned more, instead of just being, your typical, whatever person. Like, I don't know. It just feels so stereotypical to just be like, oh, ew, it looks like trash. You eat this, it looks like, ew, what the? It looks like a mess. Never realizing that you're looking at what is effectively a work of art. And it always happens, right? This is not just a you thing, but because you did it, I get to single you out. But this is just a thing that we all do. It's very important to keep that in mind and recognize that if you go into things with a much more open mindset, you'll leave a much better person overall compared to what you just did there. And it does taste good. Really good. It was so entertaining. You almost forgot that I have work today. Thank you. Thank you for adding to my entertainment points. You get one VIP point. Are you a VIP? All right. Well, you haven't lost any VIP points. Every day you lose 3 VIP points, right? You have to keep working to keep your your VIP status, right? Some days you gotta say a compliment. Other days you gotta laugh at my jokes. Other days you gotta send a picture of your food in the Discord channel. You don't want to see what happens when you get to level 4. You don't want to see it. Yeah, I'm eating this today. It's very easy to prepare or like reheat. It's very simple. You just pop it in the microwave if it's already like cold, so it's fine. To make it fresh, it takes a very long time because again, this one made from glutinous rice. This is an entirely separate type of rice. You have to grow it separately from your normal rice. It can't be in the same fields because they'll compete and they'll both die. They don't share very very well. And then when you have it, it's prepared completely differently as well. It almost looks like, well, this is the flour, but like you use this a lot for even like baking stuff. So there's snacks. I can't remember the snacks. Maybe it has here actually. Like these things. Oh, these dumplings. If you can get these dumplings, I don't know. There's well, these are like the Cambodian version, but there's every most Southeast Asian cultures have this, right? There's a version of this in Vietnam where you have it's like a very sticky, almost mochi like shell outside, but not, well, very similar to mochi, but like very different as well, because because the outside layer is like oiled. It's a glaze and like a flavored oil. Then inside you have yellow bean paste, and then like chunks of like shrimp, and you eat that with like a fish sauce, and it's so good. It's ugh. But the fish sauce you can't do like raw fish sauce. Okay, the fish sauce you must prepare it like specially. Lemon, sugar, mix it together. You have to make it almost like more like sour, tangy, savory than straight up like umami, because fish sauce by itself is very umami. It's very strong. It's very rich. You want to tame it down with the sugar and like the lemon juice to make it more of like a almost like a sauce and less of a flavoring. Because I think fish sauce by itself is a misnomer, which you kind of get because it's in the tongue it's like nook mum. It's not really sauce. It's just more like it's like flavored water is like the way to describe it, but it's like mainly it's used as a flavoring. So you have to turn it into an actual sauce that you can actually have with things, and then it's really, really, really good. All right. These things, I'm sure you must have seen this in like various places. If you've gone to any Chinese restaurant, you look over at the table of like the actual Chinese people eating, because you're like because you're probably not Chinese, and you're like, I don't know what these people eat. What should I eat? Well, they eating this shit. Tastes good. By the way, that's the trick. If you go to a restaurant, you want to try the food for the first time. You don't know what to eat. If somebody's there, look at what they're eating. Unless they look like you, then don't get what they're eating. Then if there's nobody there that doesn't look like you, that's eating. Ask the owner what to eat, and be like, listen, just don't say you'll pay anything because I'll charge you. But be like, hey, I want to learn what's your best food. Can you show me? And they'll get you it. These, you've ever gone to dim sum, you've seen these. These things are amazing. These are the deep fried version, and they fry so good. They fry, it's crispy like chicken skin. It's a different kind of fry. You know how like other fries, they get kind of like, like French fries? They get crispy like they're like, crunchy. This one fries like chicken skin. Because the gluten inside the rice, the way it fries up, it's so good. Oh, I love eating. I love eating food. It's so tasty. But yeah, keep an open eye. I guarantee you'll have much more joy with it. And it's not as funny as you think to be like, oh, you eat that? I don't know. That to me is like one step away from, I guess like you being in the lunchroom, you bringing the food that you like grew and like loved. Someone eating McDonald's and saying, what the fuck is that shit? You know what I mean? It's like, damn, dude, like, what the heck? It's like one step away from that. I know you mean it as a joke, so I'm not like annoyed at it. But what I'm surprised at is that you even made that joke because it's such a low. I want high quality humor here. All right. Imagine you've just been called by Just for Laughs. Okay, this is their final show. Is it shut down already? I'm pretty sure they already shut down. Just for Laughs. Just for Laughs is a comedy club in Canada. Well, comedy festival, and then they had their own like comedy club somewhere, and then that comedy club like shut down. Husband caught with her sister. Anyways, yeah, here we go. They went bankrupt. Yeah. Here we go. So, they're gone. But imagine you were there at the final Just for Laughs, right? And it's like, okay, and they call you up, and you're like, hey, we're having our final Just for Laughs show, and you're gonna be performing with Kevin Hart. I want you to go up there and try your best. Double standards. We joke about the grass blobs you eat. Yeah, but that one's funny because you're making fun of me. It's not double standards, right? It's a misinterpretation of the joke. The joke that you just made about this food was about this food looking bad, and therefore it must taste bad. Therefore, it must be a bad. The joke about the grass blobs is that I'm a cow and I'm eating the grass. I find that funny because it's almost like it's like the satire. It's like the full extent of it is that I'm a cow, therefore I must enjoy this like grass. Because it is just grass jelly, and it's like they're not really making fun of the food. It's just the fact that like I really like it. It's almost like you're more making fun of the fact that I really like this grass jelly compared to like everything else. And that's a very different joke. All right, I don't mind if you make fun of me because you can't hurt me. None of you are real. My psychiatrist has said that you're all voices in my head, so it doesn't really matter. All right. Kevin Farts. No, Chad, he's a real name. Anyways, this is the logo for Just for Laughs. I want you all to look at this and say oh 07 JFL. Oh 07 JFL. Just for Laughs. They had a great comedy TV show. I thought that their prank TV show was really good. Their prank TV show was like the one prank show that wasn't annoying. It's the one prank show that I wish like YouTube prankers would have watched instead of whatever shit came out of. Like people punch each other in the face on the streets and they say, haha, prank, haha, so funny, I punched someone face, concussion, so funny. This Just for Laughs was really good. What Just for Laughs would do is they would have like a porta potty, right? And then when somebody goes into the porta potty, like a normal person, they would have an entire office that they carried with them. They would lift the office, put it over the porta potty, and they would pretend to have a bored meeting room, and so the person would leave the porta potty, end up in a meeting room, and they'd be like, "What the fuck happened?" They would be like, "What's going on?" This voice in your head thinks no matter how hard you try, it will never be enough. All right. I need to take my meds. All right, you want some just for laughs? Just for laughs. I think just for laughs is magnifique. Pranks that radiate divine energy. That's such a okay. Well, whoever they hired to do, okay, Lila. See this title? Pranks that radiate divine energy. Gordon Ramsay. Kichon. Kichon Nightmares vibe. Like a little kitchen nightmares. Uh, I think they hired the same person who was doing the Kitchen Nightmares titles. God, where is it? Kitchen Nightmares titles. There was some funny ass titles. I don't have a title for this one. Sorry. From the official Kitchen Nightmares channel. I don't have a title for this one. Sorry. Oh man, they hired like a Zoomer to like make these, and then now Just for Laughs did it too for their final live stream. That's funny. Anyways, I think these pranks are a lot better because they're innocent. They don't hurt someone. They just confuse the shit out of people, and it's funny. The strangest ones were like when they would swap someone. I think it's the best gag ever. The best gag still in my mind is making somebody believe that all of a sudden people have switched places. What they did was they had a gag where these two people would be there and they would be wearing specific clothing, right? Very bright clothing that would look out of place, but like not too out of place, just enough to catch the person's attention, right? Then a pane of glass would go through in between the stranger, like just because they would film this in like public, random people, as well as the like two actors, and then they would swap out the actors to be like old people or like babies or like something. I guess you had to be there. Okay, well I can't show you. Well, no, I can show you because the company is dead. Chat, I can show you because the company went bankrupt. You guys want to see some? I can show you because the company went bankrupt. Hey, look at this. Hey, I want to see how many people typed in this chat. Oh my god. What the? Wait, a lot of people typed in the chat. Hey. 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 Whoever runs this channel, you're doing a great job. See, stuff like this. So basically, all their pranks revolved around the most that would happen was to the actors, and the people who were involved in it was simply the witnesses. And that I think was the best format for pranks because then you're forced to be creative about it. Because when the person is just a witness to it, you need to think about how to use their context to really, really sell the joke versus involving the person in the joke itself, like, punching them in the face or something. Like, it's not really funny. And it's like, it's painful because it's just a random person. Like, it sucks, right? This, forcing them to be witness of something that isn't like awful, that has to be family friendly on like TV, really pushes your creativity. Like, because there's some pranks where you can do where they're witness to something. Like I saw one that went wrong because it was such a stupid prank. It was this idea of like they witnessed their friend getting stabbed, so they started to punch and like beat up the like fake stabber. That they had to do a cut, and then when they cut, the like person who was stabbing had like a black eye or something. Because they got beat the shit out of, and it's like you can't go to those extremes. Every single person who goes through these pranks, they're bewildered, but they also love how funny it is too. Okay, I think this first one sucks. Oh, this one's good. Okay, well, wait. Do you think he's like, because he's at crotch height? Do you think he smells it? Montreal can be cold. Like, I mean, Quebec in general can be kind of cold as like a whole, right? It's mostly cold, but sometimes it's really hot. If they film on a hot day, do you think he gets a whiff of ball sweat? Bad. Okay, well, this one's actually worse. There's good ones. They had really good ones that had no harm to the person, which I thought were their best ones. Maybe this one. Okay, no, good. Well, That's why they closed down. That's why. Okay, so the reason why Just for Laughs went bankrupt because they had nobody left who could do a good joke. That's why the first comment was a, "Hey." Anyways, I'm just saying there's a way to do it well. I think you should be a joke police because some jokes you just should never do. You should never punch someone in the face. It's just never funny, right? The problem is that like if you don't have joke police, people push the boundary, and you have to have like natural consequences, which is somebody's gonna like die for it. But we have experience. We have the experience that allows us to say punching somebody in the face is not a joke. Don't do it. Nobody has to get hurt over it. Nobody has to die over it. We can pass the experience on. It's not joke police. I'm the joke custodian. I'm the joke senior. I'm the joke progenitor, right? I've seen the jokes. I've seen how they play out. I'm telling you right now, these jokes just don't work. Punching someone in the face is a joke in the correct context. It's never a joke. There is no context. The problem is that you believe that something has to be correct in some context. Sometimes there is no correct context. I'm not gonna make like an absurd comparison because it's like two different things, but specifically hurting somebody for the sake of a joke is never a joke because you're hurting someone. It's not a joke anymore. You're just hurting someone. Somebody may laugh because for them it's a joke, but not for everyone. The person you just punched just got punched in the face. It's not funny. There's no context where it works. If you believe that, then you're almost brain dead in like a sense. Because if a joke isn't funny to every single person in it, if a joke just isn't funny at all, or like can't be seen as like a humorous thing, it doesn't really work. And it's different specifically for like emotional pain. Like making a joke about Will Smith's wife is very, very risky, and also like to the line of like maybe it is kind of like painful and offensive. But he's not getting like punched in the face, physically hurt, where he could possibly die. It's a very different thing in terms of like the downstream effects of like what would happen versus the consequences. If a person got punched got punched and laughed, is that a joke? No, it's still not a joke because it's still not funny. The thing I'm trying to get at, they got punched in the face. They got hurt. This is a problem. This is the problem. The problem with that kind of thinking is that it's funny because they got punched in the face. But he laughed. Yeah, but he got hurt. You know what I mean? It's not a joke because he got physically hurt. Physical hurt is different from everything else. It's why they have that mantra of, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words can't hurt me. Because though they can hurt you very much emotionally and like mentally, it will never cause you life-threatening risk at the moment. You should never punch someone as a joke because you can actually cause life-threatening pain at the moment. It's never a joke. Even if the person laughs, it's never a joke. You just punch someone. It's assault. You need to recognize that. That's a very different thing. You just punch someone in the face. Even if there were no laws, even if laws didn't exist, you still just attack someone for no reason. Even if they laughed, it's not a joke. You just attack someone. They just happen to laugh. They happen to find it funny, but you just attack someone. That's why it's stupid. The fact that you still are arguing for that means to me that you don't get it because you believe that assaulting someone is funny. Like that's absurd to me. That's insane to me. I'm like, that's a failure. That's a failure on like some level, on a personal sense for you. You should really re-examine yourself there. Again, that mantra, words, sticks, and stones will break my bones, very true. Words can't hurt me, kind of not really true. But at least there's no like immediate consequences. Like you won't actually like put someone in a coma if you punch them too hard. You should not be okay with that shit. Don't be okay with it. And if you really want to do a joke, again, you have a million different avenues. I just told you a bunch of different jokes. Not showed you. Those ones were really bad. But I told you a bunch of jokes that like put someone in a bewildered state, dazed, almost like they got punched in the face. But they never got punched in the face. They got dazed as if they got punched in the face, metaphorically, because they're so blindsided by the weirdness of the situation. Imagine you enter a porta potty and then you leave, and all of a sudden you're in like an office. You would laugh. You would be like, "What the fuck is this?" But you're not hurt by it. You would laugh, but you're also not hurting. You're just you're confused, maybe embarrassed. But it's so strange that it's just like, "What the fuck?" And people watching can like look at your reaction and then go like, "Oh yeah, that's like weird for them. Like that has to be funny." That's a whole different thing from punching someone in the face, chat. You gotta recognize the like difference. It's why I hate those equivalencies, right? I could have drawn an equivalency to like say like, making a racist joke and then laughing at it to somebody of that race. Even if they laughed at it, it's still racist or something, right? But they're like two different extremes. They're so different because physical harm is different from like something racist. That's different from like a mental pain versus like an emotional pain. There's so many different categories, and they hurt in a different way, and there's different risk involved with like each one that you need to assess them on their own. But that's why you have to look at punching someone in the face as a joke, as assault first, not a joke. You gotta be really careful about your jokes here, guys. And you can't draw an equivalency to some other extreme joke because it's like, sure, you may make a racist joke, and sure they may laugh, even though it's racist. They still haven't been hurt in like a physical sense. Like they can't die from it, right? They will be angry about it if they didn't like the joke because it may have been actually just a racist statement disguised a joke. Like a bad racist joke is just a bad racist statement, right? But they aren't in a coma. They don't have a bruise on their face. They won't die a couple days later from possible hemorrhage. Nor will they just be bruised up and like hurting in like general. It's a whole different matter. You need to like recognize. That's why like some jokes they work in different contexts. It's also why I laugh when like a very innocent joke happens. Like that one Kai Cenat. There's a one Kai Cenat clip that was going around when he was on stream with Kevin Hart and his other co-hosts. They were watching one of Kai Cenat's oldest streams with like this like Asian dude, and he was eating ice cream because they were doing like a hot pepper challenge. And then his like co-host said, "Is that rice?" Said, "Is that rice?" Because it was vanilla ice cream. And then Kevin Hart's like, "No, you can't." And he just like he cracked. Kevin Hart just started laughing because he was like, what he wanted to say was you can't say that, but he just started like cracking. It was so fucking funny. And then Kai was like, "Okay, dude, like you can't say that shit." But he didn't say it to like mean it. He just said it as like a subconscious impulse, right? It's very different from him saying, "Haha, look at the Asian eating rice." It was just a subconscious thing, right? But because of that, it's a funny moment. Again, I'm not saying that it can't ever work. I'm just saying that like there's a very specific time when these things work, but punching someone in the face, physical harm, is very different from like even that kind of racist joke. And even that racist joke only works because it's so innocent because he literally doesn't know that that's like a subconscious thing. Like it was just a subconscious thing. If you saw a video where someone punched someone and laughed, but later you get information that person died, was it still funny in the moment? No, because I don't find violence funny. I find violence horrific. What? Do you glorify violence? Like this may be the like difference here. Do you glorify violence? Do you look at violence and then go, haha, funny, right? I look at fake violence. No violence happened. Oh, pinch someone. Like actually pinch someone. Well, no, it is violence too. I mean, you pinch someone, you also hurt them too. Also, did they die from the pinch? Also, look, that's a stupid equivalency because that can't happen. You can't pinch someone like that. No, you might, but you like. The problem with the analogy, again, this is why I hate these equivalency. You're doing exactly what I said that I hated, which is you're trying to draw equivalencies to defend your position, never realizing that they're different in scale. The only time you can pinch someone and kill them is when you pinch someone right on an artery to the point where their blood vessel like bursts, and aka the artery burst inside. And they did never get treated for it, so their blood is slowly leaking out of their like body until they have a stroke and then they die. That one is reported. But you would know because when you would see the mark, they would have to pinch it so hard that skin would have to tear. That's how hard that pinch would have to be. In which case, I would look at that and I go, that's not funny. But if somebody pinched someone lightly on the arm, they wouldn't be able to like die either. It's a false equivalency. Like that's just not a good argument. Again, it's funny because many chat rooms have come in here, said I'm good at debating. I'm not good at debating. A lot of you just don't know what you're talking about. A lot of you cannot draw these equivalencies well. Like that's not actually a good that's not actually a good scenario because it's one is in the lightest case it's impossible. In the worst case it's just violence. In the worst case somebody's doing it to the point where skin tears and then their like blood vessel pops inside, and the person would probably be like crying in like pain. They wouldn't be laughing. That's just painful. I don't know. It just seems stupid to me. It's very short-sighted. It's like, it feels like somebody who has become too casual with violence, never realizing to keep the reality of it in their mind that it's not something that you want to happen, right? Like a physical effect on someone. A physical effect at like the scale that would hurt you to the point where you die is much more graphic than you would believe. It doesn't help that movies obviously like downplay this. But movies again are fantasy, right? And then so you have to be aware of the fact that movies are fantasy. And you could make that same argument about games. No point arguing in chat. I'm not arguing in chat. I'm calling you stupid because you're wrong. There's no argument. You're wrong. I'm trying to convince you that you're wrong. I'm not trying to convince you that I'm right. I'm trying to convince you that you're wrong. That there's already a right answer. You just can't see it yet. But the problem is that you just don't know. So again, I mean, I feel sad for you if you feel that way about that level of violence and you think that that's funny, because you're the reason why those prank channels, perpetuate endlessly, over time. But to me, that says to me that you just don't have a good understanding of what it is. And then that equivalency that you drew says to me that you haven't actually thought about it further, like far enough to understand what you're talking about. You don't even see the different categories. Like you don't even see the difference in like severity about things. Like basically, if you went to a comedy club, you would be booed off the stage. Because you just wouldn't know what's like a funny joke on that level. You don't find violence funny. Don't put words in my mouth. You never saw those videos or channels as funny. But then why even argue for it? Or like why even put those points for it? Because then you should know that those points are false equivalencies, right? Basically, you know that those points are false equivalencies. Which says to me that you actually probably don't understand these things. You're just saying things can be funny in the correct context. That's so stupid. I think that's, man. It's so... How do I say this? I feel like Norm Macdonald would roll over in his grave at what you said. Because that guy was like really good at this stuff. Like really, really good at this idea of pushing comedy to the boundaries. To the point where the satire would feel so real that the people that he's making fun of had no clue. There is a limit for things. Again, things can be funny in the correct context. You can't shoot someone in the head in the correct context and it's funny. You can't kill somebody and it's funny. General statements never have a truth to them because they're too general to be any use. You need to think about what your general statement means at the extremes. If you make a general statement to encompass everything, you need to realize that at the extreme, is it still true? If not, then it's probably not true. What I'm saying is that your general statement is wrong. Not everything can be funny in the correct context. You can't kill someone and have it be funny. If I shot you, it wouldn't be funny. It would be murder. You would be dead. There is no context in which that's funny. Things cannot be funny in the correct context. Not everything can be funny in the correct context. Like that's basically what you're saying. That's what I'm saying. What I'm trying to get at is that you're wrong from the first basis. You've been wrong since the first basis. Comedy doesn't work like that. There's actually like a limit to things. It's just, I don't know why people don't realize this. Oh god, it's so sad to see. Again, like this is, man, this is why I think prank channels propagate. Because somebody thinks that. Somebody genuinely thinks that and says, oh yeah, this is probably funny in some way. It's like, no, you completely misunderstood it. Man. I miss when like it was good. Like those later Just for Laugh gags, they were like kind of bad because they were like weak, funny things. Like they didn't really get like good reactions because it wasn't bewildering enough. But I remember like a prime time of Just for Laughs gags when they basically dominated like TV comedy in like Canada because it was so good. It was so harmless and yet so ingenious at how funny they were, at the situations that they were able to like bring up, and how much they could like break someone's mind and just turn into like a pure comedy like skit. It was so good. Nowadays we have this like trash that says everything can be funny in the correct context. Like Jesus Christ, not everything can, man. It doesn't work like that. Yeah, yes, you have to be good at it. You have to actually know what you're doing. Yeah. Anyway, so what I'm saying is your first comment was like wrong because again, if I kill you, it's not funny. So I mean, I think you should take that back to the drawing board and realize that general statements never work. And I honestly, that's why I never say general statements either. Like I say I say very specific subcategory statements towards a very specific thing. I never say like a general statement of like, I don't know, if something's gonna be funny in the right context. I say like within this context, within these examples, within this like space, within these specific subgenres, it's good, and it's why I go so long when explain concepts. Right, I take a very long time to explain concepts because saying like a general statement like that is always going to be bad because it just implies a sense of like not like a lack of understanding of things. It's just strange to me. Thank you for that. It was good to talk about that because it was good to as a follow up. Just a matter of perspective. Just because you don't find those videos funny, someone crazy with no moral compass might find it funny. I don't know how do you explain to somebody that violence and the loss of life is never going to be funny. That just because you laugh at it doesn't mean that it's funny. Doesn't mean that it's a joke. How do I explain to someone like what a joke really is versus like just straight up violence that somebody takes part in, takes sadistic pleasure in? How do you explain the difference between sadistic pleasure and a joke to somebody who truly believes that things can be funny in the right context? Right? Like if you can't see the difference between that, then there's no point in us talking about this because it means that you don't understand what the difference between sadistic pleasure and a joke is. You'd mean like you literally cannot, like you literally don't understand. There's no way for me to explain it to you. Like no moral compass, sadistic pleasure, like those are very different things from it's a joke. Very different things. And funny, I just don't know how to explain it to you. I feel like if you can't see that, you guess you don't understand what funny and a joke is. No, I'm saying that you don't understand what the difference between a sadistic pleasure and a joke is. People with no moral compass who do that, they find sadistic pleasure in it. They find joy in it. They find it funny. It doesn't mean that it's a joke. I don't. Oh man, I don't know. I feel like that's just a terrible argument too. Again, it's one of those like weird arguments that you make that you feel like is a good equivalency, never realizing that no, it's a very specific scenario, and that specific scenario is a very different feeling versus like it actually being a joke. And again, it has to rely on some aspects. Obviously, a lot of like colloquialisms about mental health and what a person's personality can be like boil down to no moral compass, right? But that to me just says like there's a lack of understanding there, and I think you probably should have stayed away from it from the first go, because again, it's not necessarily a you thing. It's just a lot of people believe this without ever actually thinking harder about it, and then they say it, and then they get defensive about it without realizing that wait a minute, why am I getting defensive about it? Maybe there is something here. Maybe there's something wrong with the way that I'm thinking about it. Maybe there is something different about the way I'm thinking about it. Maybe it's a lot more complex than it really is. And if I don't take care of those complexities, I can never make a good joke. Because a joke can be because a good joke is extremely complex with like possibly many good layers. A good joke can also be very simple. You can just fart in like a very specific context and it's hilarious. But until you understand what those complexities are, I don't think you can really understand what the difference is. Not to say that you can't start telling jokes, but I just feel like that's a very strange equivalency, right? I mean, you could make a joke about somebody believing that, and you can make it all like a satire thing, and it could be funny in a very Norm Macdonald kind of sense, right? And you can also make a joke about me going crazy over chat about it, right? Going into like the semantics of like what a joke is versus just straight up what is like murder and what is sadistic pleasure, and like what is violence, and like why somebody with the mindset to murder someone and take someone's life and take pleasure in it is very different from somebody enjoying a joke and finding something funny, like actually funny and like a joke. And that would be funny, but like the acts the themselves are very different. It's why what's that show? Something and Weber, the like the like British show. They made that joke about are we the baddies? It's a joke about them being Nazis, right? Because being a Nazi is awful, but making a joke about that, like that specific joke, was really good. It was funny. It's because again, it's just satire. If you don't know that difference, it's like I don't know how to help you. like I don't know how to help you. I'm sure some comedian out there can probably tell you it a lot better because they know the like words for it and they've been doing it for longer than like me, right? But for me, it's like I don't know how to help you because for me it's obvious, but I don't know the words to explain what I'm feeling. I just feel it and I know it intuitively in like a weird mind mapping. But for that like statement, it's like I don't know how to explain it to you. If you feel like that's the same as somebody getting their head. If you feel like that's the same as somebody getting their head blow up, right? You were wrong, but no need to go for insults, even if it's frustrating. Yeah, that's fair. That's a fair point. But even then, it's like, come on, what did you expect? You're on the internet, you say something like, I don't know, very, very silly like that at such a general level that's like super, like, I don't know, so callous towards the reality and the complexities of like things, and you believe that you're able to like walk away free, right? I'm just like, dude, like, there's no way that you should be saying that stuff here. Because you say stuff like that, you gotta take responsibility for it. You gotta take responsibility for the shit that you say. Because somebody's gonna read what you say and think like, oh yeah, actually that reinforces my like viewpoint. Never realizing that they just taken in another wrong viewpoint towards their wrong point of view. You're just reinforcing a shitty state of mind, right? I'm just saying, like you have to take responsibility for the words that you say too. So, but you are correct. I shouldn't have insulted you. Even though it was well deserved. At least in that moment, it was well deserved. Uh, but yeah, I will be doing that to you all the time. Pretty much all of you. That's why I tell all of you, don't have parasocial thoughts about me, because I despise all of you in various different ways. And when you really bring out like a point that I feel like, okay, listen, like that's so wrong, and you're not willing to see my point of view, when I'm trying to be nice about it, going through it in a very nice way, then I feel like at some point it's just gonna boil over. Because again, that's an insane statement to me, to just make it just like offhandedly and just be like, oh yeah, it's like cool. It's like no, it's not. That's not how it works, man. That's not how it works. Especially when you started to go down the route of like trying to justify the idea of punching someone in the face as a joke. I was like, it's never gonna work, man. It's never gonna work. You should have stopped beforehand and really rethought yourself and just thought about like, okay, maybe they're onto something here. Maybe I am wrong, and if you don't agree with it, just be like, all right, let's just think about this phrase. It's like the fact that you just kept like going at it and going at it, and then you equated murder to it. I was like, dude, like, you had something wrong with this. Like, there's something wrong about your way of thinking about this. You gotta take a moment here. Yeah, sit around the campfire, chat. Sit around the campfire as we all regale each other in our mindsets. And I think it's good to talk about this stuff too. I actually think it's very, very good. You'd be very surprised at how many like points of view I've had that I needed somebody to sit down with me and challenge too, right? I needed this for a lot of the things that I thought too, because I was a 4chan kid growing up. Not like a heavy 4chan kid. But when you're exposed to these things at such an early age, before you understand the reality of the things, you don't know things. And so you actually need somebody to like pull you out of it and really go like, okay, listen, you're a dumbass. You gotta really think about this. You're always right. You have that privilege as a leader. My brother in Christ, you're not even a VIP. The person I was just talking to has been a VIP. They earned their VIP by showing me a new skill on Wikipedia. Teach me something that I don't know, and I'll give you. I have this. If you teach me something that I don't know, and I'll give you VIP, right? That person gave me dark mode. That's why they're VIP. You're not even VIP, and you call yourself a leader. You don't even get to stand on the same circle as them. What's funny actually is a VIP list. I can go down the VIP list, and I see who's my first VIP. Then they're not even here anymore. It's so good. What's funny is that they were only here for one game that I got really into for like, I want to say like a year, and then we finally finished the game, and I was like, all right, I never want to touch that game ever again. God, and what's funny is that I forget the name of the game now. It's just a really good side-scrolling RPG. And I remember it stuck in my mind as like an extremely, extremely good action RPG game. I just can't recall what it was called anymore. They know that Norway has the longest coastline in Europe. Wait, what? Wait, does that make sense? Isn't Norway like on an island? Wait, where is Norway? I don't know geography. It's not on an island. Okay, I take it back. It's not on an island. Well, I mean, it's not an island. I was gonna say it makes sense because if you're on an island, your entire edge is your coastline. Like, say you're like Greenland, right? Like, Greenland is like 99% coastline because it's just all water around you. Holy shit, Greenland. Yeah, yeah, no. Greenland is 100% coastline because you are not connected to any other landmass except that one bridge. Is there a bridge still, or is there no bridge? I actually don't remember if there's a bridge. Wasn't there a bridge somewhere in like Alaska? All the way up in the like top end? No, no. Or like between Iceland, actually no, but between Iceland and like Greenland, that would have to be the longest bridge, and I think at some point people would die because I don't think that bridge would be able to stand the growing sea like shaking waves. Norway has more than Greenland. What? What do you mean? But Greenland's all like island, isn't Greenland? Wait, okay. What's the definition of a coastline? I always imagine coastline as like the edge between you, the island, and the water surrounding you. The Mercator scale makes it a lot larger than it is. Wait, are you telling me? Wait, you're telling me that there's a standard way to make maps that just makes different countries look completely different in like scale than they actually are? How large is Greenland IRL? I've only ever seen videos of like Greenland, and but the videos are only shot from one POV, right? And the map shows me as like a large Greenland. What if Greenland is smaller than like Iceland? And like no one knows. Yes, yes. What the? That doesn't make any sense. Wait, how come we didn't draw the maps like one to one? What's the point of having like a different scale? The Mercator, because Earth is a sphere, there's no logical way outside of the globe to make stuff at the poles not look stretched. Well, oh yeah, that's true. You're right. I keep forgetting that it's no, not that I forget that like Earth is a sphere, but what I meant was that I keep forgetting that the map, like, because you're right. If you stretch it out, then the map would have those like weird, like if you put this, if you strip the globe into a map, it would have those like fins at the top, 3 or 4 fins, and there'd be empty space in between. So you're right, it stretches it. But I would have thought that they would have accounted for the stretch by just having empty space, or like by just filling in the space with like nonsense, or by just reprojecting everything to make it look the same. But there's no way Greenland is smaller than Norway. There's no way it's smaller than Norway, is it? There's no way. It's huge on the map. Like what? You're lying to me. If I pull up a globe, wait. If I pull up a globe and I measure the globe version of Greenland, is it smaller than Norway? Like, does Norway then become way larger than like the globe version of Greenland? thetruesize.com/border/ whatever that link is. Yeah, see, yeah. By the way, links will eventually disappear because whenever we play a game, there's like a bot every now and then that will show up, and it's like annoying to like deal with. Search, drag, and compare. Okay. I want to do Greenland. The true size of Greenland. Total size 2.6 million kilometers squared. Norway. Wait, do you count the islands though, or do you count just the thing? Wait, you're lying to me, Chad. It says Greenland total size 2 million kilometers squared versus Norway 300,000 kilometers squared. You're lying to me. You're lying to me. I believe that the coastline is larger, unless you count the other islands. Just the coastline. This is gonna be like one of those. It's gonna be like one of those. Which one's heavier, Lemmy? A kilogram of steel or a kilogram of feathers? And I'm Lemmy. I'm Lemmy going. It's a kilogram of Greenland. But and then I go, I don't get it. And then chat goes, but streamer, they're both a kilogram of coastline. It's like I don't get it. I don't get it. Just the coastline. Norway is only not bits. Okay, well I didn't know you would count. I mean, I guess it makes sense because if you count the islands like Svalbard, I honestly forget sometimes that like Svalbard and like stuff is a part of Norway because it's so far away. It's one of the it's one of the because again it's like one of the few. Well, not few. It's a bit like how like Canada and America, they have like weird splits, and I forget that like there's a split at the very top that belongs to one of us, despite the fact that it's not connected to the rest of us. Like America has the whole northern section, but it's on our side of the map. Like America is in the middle between South America and us, but they own that northern part, that like fin, and that should have been ours. I'm not saying that's like a political thing. I'm just saying like if I'm looking at the map and I was making like a Civ map, if I was making a map for Civ 2188. I would have made the map and given that part to Canada because it would have been easier from a mapping perspective. You started joking the concept of the dark humor where people can be referenced in situations involving harm and death. But of course, most of not always, the harm such death is not real in cinema, for example. Yeah, exactly. It's not real, right? It's like fantasy. When it's in the realm of fantasy, it can be funny. But film and cinema is like a very specific place where it can work. But even that's like a very specific thing too. It's like, it's really hard to make somebody's death be a funny thing. And it's usually the context around it that makes it funny. Like I forget the movie. There was one movie where the death was actually like really sad. But the reason why it was such a funny moment was because how sudden it was. Right? It's just a sudden death out of nowhere. I mean, a lot of kids' movies do this too, where they have somebody, that person just randomly dies, and it's like, okay, well, it's like it's funny, but it's not like it's not real either. It's just like I don't know. It's just like the way that it works within the world of fantasy follows very different rules because they also break a lot of the rules in terms of like the like timeline. Because that level of suddenness you can't get from reality without it not always without it ever not being like shocking or traumatizing. And so realistically, in the world of fantasy, a sudden death that like cuts to them being like, "I'm ready for my day," and then to their grave, that's funny, but only in like a comedy setting, right? Only in like a fake virtual setting. That's why I said in the right context. Okay, well in the conversation we were talking about, it was in reality. What did you expect? I'm gonna put that one on you, chat. You brought in the fantasy version of it into a context. Literally, what am I talking about? What was I talking about? Was I talking about comedy and movies and films and like things that were virtual? Or was I talking about in the context of like prank videos? And did you argue in the context of punching somebody in a like punching somebody with no other context? So I have to assume it's within the context of a fucking real prank video. You motherfucker! Jesus! It was bad timing. No, it was you not misunderstanding. It was you not understanding the context. You didn't get the context. What the? It's like having a conversation about Quebec food, and then you say, "Wow, I really love." Sorry. It's like that's not Quebec food. I'm glad you like the food, but that's not Quebec food, dude. Talk about the poutine or the spaghetti pizza. What the? You can't put that on me, my brother. You can't put that on me, chat. That's on you. What the? Take responsibility for that, man. What the? Not putting it on me, but then you put the hands up and you go, "That's what I said in the right context." You were wrong anyways. What the? You were wrong by context alone. What the? Own up to it. What the? A true size site lets you drag a country or whatever around the map to see the true size. Oh, it does let you drag it. What? Oh, I get it. So the closer you get, oh, okay. Yeah, okay, this map is extremely interesting. Here, we're moving on to the map. I wanted to show you this. That's actually so crazy to me that happens. This is Greenland at the top, because it makes sense, because a globe, right? You move this shit down to the equator, it's tiny. I've lived my whole life as a lie. They're the same size. There's actually no difference between the two if you had more land in between the rest of Sweden. If you had more land in between the rest of Sweden, it could actually fill up like the Greenland space. Well, kind of. You would have like a bit more on the left side. But I'm just saying, if you had a bit more land that covered the water in between, yeah, it would be the exact same size. So Canada is probably not as large either. Wait, we own that part? Who owns this part? Oh god, that's so weird. Oh, never mind. No, Canada is still large. Honestly, Canada, except for this like bottom piece, I don't think anybody else lives up here. Well, like people live up here, but it's very very sparsely populated. Very sparsely populated. You get a lot of population in Nunavut, obviously, but then like as you go for it, even in like northern Ontario, there's like a dead zone in between of like pure swampland. Somewhere there's like a cold swampland somewhere. It's huge but mostly empty, kind of like Russia. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's huge but mostly empty. Yeah. It's good for sightseeing, I guess, or if you want to film like a nature documentary, or if you're a secret spy and you want to run like a lab out there or something. I don't know. There's a lot of theories actually. This is there's really so many conspiracy theories about Canada having like a bunch of like people believing that there's spies hiding out in this like empty region of like Canada. And like my brother in Christ, they wouldn't be able to survive out here. There's nothing out here. There's nothing here. Wait, is there Google Maps for this? Frederick Lake. What they named these? Bull Lake, Rennie Lake, Knowles Lake. I mean, at this point, okay, honestly, at this point, I want you to look at this map very carefully. What makes this a lake, that a lake, but not this? Why is this a lake, that a lake, but not this? And how come these lakes, like, What's stopping us from just going out here and claiming a lake for the stream? There's nothing stopping us, right? I could join the scientific community and we could get a lake for us as like a chat thing. This is doable, chat. We have an opportunity here to do the funniest thing possible. We could be a part of Canadian history for all of time. We have a chance. Why are these not named? And also, like this feels like cheating when you want to name something after yourself. There's so many different pockets of like water that's lake sized. You know, Canada on has an island in a lake on an island in a lake on an island. Yeah, we have a lot of like weird things like that. I mean, because Canada is just a weird landmass. Just a very strange landmass. Like, look at this. You can kind of see an example of it. Where is it? I just saw it somewhere. Here. Now I don't know what the scale of this is, but somebody can live here. Somebody. That right there could be a whole island. It's just a weird landmass. Again, that's why most of us are like here. It's coffin shaped. Okay, well it's not. It could be a graveyard. It could be a gravesite. It could be a gravesite. Also, here's Alaska. Look, I'm just saying, if you were the developer of Civ, right? If you were the developer of Civ, United States, and then what? Why is it to the United States? Contiguous 48. No, the full thing. If you were the map maker for Civ, if for like Civ 2188, I think you would want to include these into Canada. Just purely from like a 3D modeling perspective, that makes it easier. It's easier for your players too, because then your players know where Canada lies. Same with these things. These things I would just give to their own. I mean, they are kind of their own in terms of like what they do, but they're just a part of it. I'm just saying, guys. If I was a map maker for Civ, I would make it easy on myself on the players. I wouldn't want my players. Because somebody in Civ, right? I know for sure somebody in like Civ didn't know that this would have been a part of their like land. Or whatever game. What's that game that's like Civ but has like actual nations? That isn't the medieval version. It's like the medieval one, but like actually has the real modern day nations. Because whoever plays that, I guarantee you, is building everything down here, and then later on, it like says like Canada player has taken over Alaska. And it's like, what the fuck? That was mine? You know what I mean? Europa Universalis, yeah. Or Hearts of Iron. Well, is Hearts of Iron the like war one? I always thought Europa Universalis was just Europe. But if it includes America too, right? Again, you're playing over here. You think you built everything over here, right? Then all of a sudden it says that the Canada player has taken over Alaska. And you're like, wait, what happened to Alaska? That was mine? That's just bad game design. If I was the game designer for IRL 2.0, I would make this a Canadian. UE4 has a big colonization mechanic thing. Oh. Like to colonize America as Japan just because it's funny. Europa Universalis. You know what? I guess it makes sense because it does say Universalis. But why is it Europa? Is it a psyop? What's that psyop image? Whoever posted that like psyop image? Is it a psyop to try to get Europe to take over the entire universe? Holy shit, it is the entire world. That's actually kind of sick. We actually might play this at some point. Not for any particular reason. I just really enjoy these types of games. I actually couldn't drop that Crusader Kings game for a while. I had to stop because I knew it would be a massive time sink. Same with Stellaris. There's a bunch of these games. Like the space ones especially got me going for so long. I was playing the space ones for super long. There's a really good space game actually called Space Pirates. No, not Space Pirates and Zombies. What's the other game? Games like Space Pirates. I don't know. Games like Space Pirates. It was a very old space game, but you were just a random person in space. Similar to Space Pirates and Zombies. Games like Space Pirates and Zombies. Old. Star Control? No. Star Maid? No. Starpoint? Gemini Warlords? No. Starcom Nexus? No. Fuck, what was that game? Not Star Sector, no. Star Rangers. Here we go. If you ever get the chance to, This game was I want to say well, not recently, but like the HD version of this was released. Well, now it's 9 years ago. Okay, now it's 11 years ago. This game is one of the best space games I've played, and it's so shit. It's probably it's better than Starfield by a million miles. It reminds me a lot of Star Sonata, which I actually wanted to play for today's stream, but I couldn't get the client working, and people said that it was like weird virusy and stuff. So I was like, no. This game, you have your own spaceship. You go around in space. You build your own spaceship. You can build different colonies and different relationships in this space system. And there's different stories that you can go down. And when you finish the stories, you can go through all the space and you can then, do all the stuff. It's a very bad explanation, but basically it's a very free-form game that lets you do a lot. And it has RPG mechanics, so you build your spaceship up depending on different stats and stuff. You can focus on different things. You can even find different, special, unique spaceships that, depending on where you find them, there's even alien ships. And there's an RTS mode for some reason that I really hate. This is like 20 games in one. And there's a visual novel mode for when you go to jail. The game was originally in Russian, I think. And then it got an English patch like a long time ago. And then they re-released HD a war apart onto Steam at some point. And I know that there's a mod somewhere floating around that increases the value of this game. But yeah, when you go to jail, there's a visual novel with text-based puzzles. It's very fun. It's a really cool game, but you need to enjoy this type of old game. I wanted to play it at some point on stream, but I was like, we have too many old games going. Not that it's bad, but I feel like Factorio is like enough for most people. But whatever you do, use the cheat to skip the RTS mode, or there's an optional toggle now instead of options or something in like a mod. You need to skip these. They're very boring. What you do, the winning strategy, you turtle, because the enemy doesn't move until you move. So you turtle, you wait 30 minutes to collect as many resources as you can. You spam all your, creations, and you just make robots that can shoot the like long range like missiles, and you win without the enemy ever moving because the AI doesn't work until your units come into a certain range, which is before the missile range. Otherwise, you literally cannot win because you run out of resources before the enemy does because they have infinite resources. But there's also infinite resources in general, so you can never like stop playing. You just keep going until you eventually get bored. It's very, very boring. But this game's good. Actually, I kind of wonder if it's still good. Space Rangers Quest? What? There's a new text adventure with a touch of nostalgia. Save the coalition from the new threat. What? Why'd you want a text adventure? It's a somewhat funny, nowhere near as good as the absolutely brilliant one. They removed the... Oh my god, it's still getting updated. What the fuck? We have great news for you. A brand new patch. My brother in Christ, it's been like 11 years since you released this game. What? It's a fan-made Spanish translation. What? Fan-made translation was added to the legal mods. What's a legal mod? What's a legal mod? What makes a mod illegal? Make advancing your career is a little easier, more fun for you. Prepare the patch with thing. It contains fixes, new quality of life features. Pressing F11 now deletes save price list. Clan pirate strength is reduced by 1 division for new games. Wow. They make the pirates easier? Teams up with the Pegasus Expedition. What's this? This is mixed reviews. Sci-fi strategy game. I'm out. I can't believe this game is still getting updates. Well, I mean, I say still getting updates, but it's like 1 update per year, actually. January to March, 2023, 2022. The Pegasus Expedition. You know what? They try the best, right? What is this? FPS boomer shooter. Okay, chat, this looks kind of sick, actually. Wait, chat, we might have a new game to play. I'm not saying that because of the aesthetics. I'm just saying that it looks like a pretty cool game. It has a sword. You can't go wrong with a first-person shooter that gives you a sword. I think that's what Ultra Kill did really well. Actually, no, not the Ultra Kill. The Ultra Kill mod did that very well. Was it let you play as the sword dude? It's very bolt gun. Yes, it's very bolt gun. Yes. I've been watching Matara Can play it because I don't want to play it. But I've been watching her play it, and she makes it look fun. But like, I wish more games had that. Because again, guns by themselves are very boring. I think most guns can be boring. And once you run out of the like Doom staple of the guns, it feels like it's hard to make more guns, but I'm probably wrong on that. I'm just not creative enough. So I'm going to say this wrong phrase, which is, I think it's hard to make guns play very, very well because it's just in general make it hard to make ranged feel different from other types of ranged moves. With melee, you can get really creative and it feels much more visceral because you're in the moment. And if you don't dodge, you're going to like die, right? But I'm probably wrong, and there's probably a really good ranged gun game out there that feels good for like every and has like a ton of meaningful weapons. The fleets greet you, admirals. Fixed MS Visual C++ library error. What? Fine tuning center. 2021. Planet generated. How? Why did they keep making stuff for this? I wonder what mods are for this game actually. Not discussions. Some of the Space Rangers. HD War Apart mods. Holy shit. Am I logged in? No, good. Chat, there's actually mods for this. Space Rangers Universe. Although this add-on for the simulator is unofficial, it includes many required for mastering by staff tactics. New arcade and planetary battles, maps, text quests, many governmental tasks, and non-ten. Oh yeah, you also run your own government in this game. I remember that portion being the worst portion of this game. It's a big pack of mods for game Space Rangers. All the mods are independent modules. What? Maybe we will play this on stream at some point. God, it's. Oh, I feel the addiction starting again. I have it. I have it installed because I know I want to play it at some point again, but I don't know if I want to. Dutch modification. What does that mean? The Dutch modification for Space Rangers HD of War Apart. This new Space Rangers 2 Dominators something something is now in Dutch. All something can spell something quasi add-ons. Something something. It's new words and new words in the text. Yeah, for now? No worries, chat. You can leave. You can come and go and leave as much as you want. Again, please don't be parasocial. You're allowed to disappear if you please. There's no reason. There's no pressure to stay. Yeah, we'll think about these at some point. We've hit the hour mark, and I finally finished eating, and I feel good now. It's fully digested. There's no song choices for today. We're gonna start into the various MMOs, okay? The MMOs, we're not gonna do programming again today. Again, that's gonna be added for tomorrow, Friday or next week. It depends on when my wife is back. Tomorrow will also be a scuff day because my friend is also she's coming home from work around 2 or 3. I know she takes like an hour to like shower, so we'll play games around then. I think around maybe 4 or 5 with her. So I don't know what we're gonna be doing in the morning. But especially, I need to help her fix her mic because she got a new mic and she's asked me to help her tune it. So we'll have to do that live. It might take 5-10 minutes. It might take half an hour. I'm not really sure. Either way, that's the future plans. So we're not gonna be programming today. We're just going over MMOs. We don't have much time today as well because I need to do stuff after as well for various like job searches and like stuff. As well as just I want to finish these ideas in my head that I've had for like a while. So we're gonna be going down this list of MMOs. We have about 4 hours to go through them all because then we're now at the 2-hour mark, which I scoped out, which is good. Well, 2 hours and like 15 minutes. One of them may not work for very long because I found this from some other streamers stream and I was surprised it was still alive. And apparently the servers sometimes die. So we'll see how far it goes, okay? Just be warned, this is a very boring segment. So you're allowed to leave if you want to. There's actually, again, there's no pressure to stay for these segments. But especially this segment, this is one of those segments that like will either tickle your fancy because you remember these games, or you'll be like, I never want to see these games ever again. However, I need to be right back. I'll be right back in just a moment. When I'm back, we'll start with the RP with the MMOs. BRB. There's so many different like account services. I've been actually realizing how bad some of the security on some of these services are. Like for a long time, we've had this recommendation from security agencies of like, not even security agencies, just in general, just from like independent research from security groups. You should just allow people to make as long of a password as they want. Up to like, maybe like 100 characters or like something. That's like fine. But ideally, they should be able to enter in everything. Because the more restrictions you have, the worse your security is overall for their account. Because they won't remember all these different restrictions that you've put in like place for their account. It's just nonsense for most people. Actually, I need to use this account because this probably doesn't. Let me see if this works. I'm curious if it takes my stick space thing. However, there's also one thing too. I'm surprised at how many of them validate email in like the wrong way. For a lot of things, the only real way to know that somebody's email is like correct or not correct is to send a verification email. And then just don't let them play until they verify, or let them play even if they don't verify, but lock them out past a certain point if they don't verify. Lock them out of like global chat features and like stuff. Because there's so many different domains out there that follow the specification of what works. That if you try to check on, okay, what specific domains are you allowed to make things for, um, it just like you're just gonna end up soft locking someone who has like a very bespoke domain for something. Oh god. Again, sorry chat. This may crash at some point. Just gotta lower the resolution for this one. Oh god. If you recognize the sound of this game, you probably know what this is already. But I need to.
Ah, the spell is working.
Okay. Oh god. Okay. When I was young, I had dreams, chat. Ideas of what my life was going to be like. I never thought I'd be playing kids MMOs for all of you, as well as also later on, we're playing an MMO that is 99% roleplay. I'm saving a lot of my juice and I'm waiting for the coffee to kick in before I start that. So we're gonna see how it goes. Also, we'll check out Warframe by the end of today because I'm gonna take you on some farming trips. But that's it for me too, chat. Again, Warframe, I'm conflicted. All these MMOs today, I'm so conflicted on them because it's fascinating to see the MMO space move at a snail's pace compared to the non-MMO space. But yeah, check these games out. I do think that they are fun. It's just I recognize that these games are very, very. It's strange, right? Because we come from the. Because I follow indie game developers a lot, and I see what they're doing, and then I see this stuff, and then I see the other MMOs, and I'm like, only Warframe and then Raven Dawn were having really exciting to me. Everything else just kind of feels dead, stagnated, right? It's a lot of the same thing over and over and over again. It's weird how it's weird how insular the MMO side of games are compared to the rest of the gaming world. Again, Global Agenda came out the same year as Red Dead Redemption. You can see exactly how insular it is just in that alone. If you like these games, please do be respectful when you do play them. These are games that you're playing with other people, and as I've said before, though I don't demonstrate well, but also because sometimes we have to bring the hammer down on you some times. Be nice to people until they're not nice to you, in which case give them no mercy. Until they're not nice to you, then you don't give them any mercy. But if they're nice to you, then just chill out. These are fun online games, and the social aspect really makes it. Especially there on Earth, everyone's in 1999 mode at the moment. So if you want to log in now, you can actually go there and check it out. The album for this game is also online on Spotify, I think. I forget the name of the fake boy band that they made, but it has it's very good like NSYNC / Backstreet Boys sound to it, which I really enjoy. Thanks for showing up. Tomorrow it's going to be very scuffed. I don't know what we're doing in the morning. It really depends on what my friend wants to do. It also depends on when my wife comes home. Tomorrow will be either a really short stream or a really long stream. Who really knows? We're filming some really nice OST. It gets slept on. Very nice OST. Nice OST, amazing art. Honestly, the gameplay is really good. It's weird how like fragmented these like extra pieces are. So yeah, just enjoy these games. Check out Raven Dawn online as well. I think that game is going to be a hit banger. That game is going to be the next big MMO. Once they learn how to rotate it 45 degrees, then we're on to something. Okay? Hope you enjoyed today's segment. This was a very last-minute segment that I planned. Or not last-minute, but it's a very experimental segment. This is why I don't tend to play MMOs on stream, because... So a lot of you have been asking before as well, why no Final Fantasy 14? Why no, Warframe? You need to spend at least 30 hours before these games start. And then when it finally starts, there's not really much else to it. Like when you play the game, right? Most of the gameplay is in the social aspect. Because it turns out that if you have an unfocused type of game that's really focused on being an MMO first, it feels like that makes the game design suffer, even though I feel like it shouldn't. But that's what it kind of feels like, especially when you saw Global Agenda. There's no real difference between this and Global Agenda except the fact that I can run faster. Which is strange, right? It's very odd. Or even Global Agenda and World of Warcraft. Just one is still being updated, one is in like a random server. So, yeah, it's why I don't play MMOs on the stream. It's why I enjoy our weird eclectic mix of games too. Whether they're indie games or AAA games, it doesn't really matter. But I tend to find the games that we're playing now to be more interesting, and I look for more, I guess, tighter experiences that are both better for stream and also better for us and better for me, because as you know, I get bored very often. So again, tomorrow, no clue what's going to happen. It's either going to be Chained Together or another game that I've been saving for a while. I'm trying to convince them to play the scary game to see if they like it. But the scary game is gonna be fun for us both because we're gonna be screaming, so it'll be good for us both, and you too, chat. So, but yeah, no clue how tomorrow's going to run. We'll figure out something on the day of. We'll probably play something in the morning, not too heavy, not too serious, not too long, not too time consuming. Might even be like some trash games that I found, or might even not like trash games, quote unquote, but like, sorry, trash games was like the wrong term. More like the games that you pick up and you play, and they're just there to be like dopamine adjusters, right? Like you've seen the ones, like the ones in the mobile ads, right? It might even be actually some of the good trash games. I call these good trash games because I find it funny that they have the same DNA makeup, like Vampire Survivors or Elatro. It's weird that they have the same DNA makeup as those like trash games, but they do it so well that it feels fun. Might even be like a good game. Who really knows? I have no clue. I'm getting out of here. All of you get out too. Code review was your code was good. Just figure out how to determine the bounds in a pragmatic way, and then figure out some of the things as well with the. See if you can bake the condition in, because I know it's weird to bake the condition in, but there's a way to simplify your if-else's. I just haven't really figured out what yet, because I haven't looked at your code. I just know that there is. Try to think in a declarative manner versus the imperative way, and you should be good. And you did good, chat. Again, thank you for having the argument today. It's always good if we argue about things, but it was good for us to get that out of the system. And if you say something, I will bring it up. The chat isn't just free for you to say the wildest things. Some wild things in some contexts need some explanation, or at least more. And it's gonna be called out. You know how I am. But in fact, the blog stream is it's how you found me. I'm so sorry that you had to find me that way. Goodbye, everyone. Good night. The VOD channels get upload way faster. This is gonna be a hell of a series of VODs to upload. So, goodbye. Have a fun time. If you join Warframe, let me know. Drop your ID inside of Discord, and I can add you all. What was that? Dog looking sussy and cute. Yeah. Okay. Well, if you play Warframe, please post your frames as well. I think I did a pretty good job. Look at my art. Look at my art. Got my Loki, my Ash. My Trinity? Yeah, I have a certain style type. Yeah, I know. It's cringe. I know. By the way, she looks like a bug. Anyways, bye everyone.